Hello friends of Sudoku and welcome to the New York Times Hard Sudoku. Today is April 12, 2023. Let's get started right away. And I see the typical New York Times pattern. The 2, 4, 8 and a 9 need to go in these four squares here, making these a 1, 3 and a 7. We have a 7 blocking up here, so one of these must be a 1 and the other must be a 3, and these two must be 6 and 5 because the 6 and 5 block over here. We also have two 1s blocking over here, so one of these is going to be a 1. We know that one of these is going to be a 5, so we need a 5 for the top row, and it clearly can't go in any of these three squares because of this 5. And we got one 5 here and one 5 here blocking these two squares. So a 5 is forced to go here. This 3 blocks across, so does this. Therefore, a 3 must go here. This 4 blocks across, so a 4 goes in one of these three cells, and because of the 4 here, we now know that one of these two squares must be a 4. Whether it's a huge help or not, I'm not sure. Sadly, I'm not able to do much with the 2, 4, 8 and a 9 here, so those will have to wait. There's a 6 blocking over here though, and a 6 blocking down, so a 6 is forced to go in this square here. There's a 2 blocks across here, so a 2 goes here, and I can see the 2's here blocking down, and now there's a 2 blocks over, so a 2 must go here. A 7 must go here or here, but that's not important at this stage because it doesn't help me get on with the puzzle. These three squares, though, must be a 1, 4, and an 8. And that means that these two squares must be a 9 and a 5. But the one here, the potential one in these two squares, helps me find a 1 for one of these two squares, because as we discussed earlier, a 1 must go in one of these two squares. I can repeat why. The 5 and a 6 here block across, so one of these is going to be a 5 or a 6 and therefore can't be a 1. This 1 blocks this square, this 1 blocks this square, so we need a 1 for one of these two squares, and we also know that one of these two squares must be a 1. So this is a 1. Now these two squares must be a 1 and a 7. We have a 1 and a 7 here, and we have a 1 and a 7 here. So a 1 and a 7 must go here, making these an 8 and a 5. The 8 blocks down, so a 5 goes here and the 8 goes here. These two squares now must be a 4, which can't go here, by the way, because a 4 must go here, here, or here. So a 4 goes here, and this square gets to be a 9. And now an 8 must go here somewhere, and the two other squares in the column are still a 6 and a 5. And I don't think I can resolve any of those yet. These three squares must be a 1, 3 and a 5 as well. But here we can do something. There's a 1 and a 5 in the row, so this is a 3. And in collaboration with the 3 blocking up here, this now gets to be a 3, and we know now that this must be a 1. The last square in the column has got to be a 5. this 5 blocks up, so the square here goes to be a 6, and this must be a 5. We still just need 2 digits more here, and one is going to be an 8, the other is going to be a 6. And of these 3 squares, we know that they have to be a 1, 9, and a 4. There's a 1 blocking across here and here, so this is a 1. The 9 blocks over here, so this is a 4, and this therefore must be the 9. The 9 blocks over, so does this. This blocks up, 9 goes here. A 3 must go in one of these 2 squares because this 3 blocks this square here. And since we have a 3 in one of these 2 squares and we have a 3 in this row already, we need a 3 for row 5. And this 3 blocks up, this 3 blocks over, a 3 goes here. 3, 4, 7, 8 now for these squares. 3, 8, and a 4 are all blocking this square, which therefore must be a 7. This 7 blocks up, this 7 blocks up, this 7 blocks across. 7 therefore has got to go here. These are now 3, 8, and a 4. We got a 4 and an 8 in the top row, so the 3 is forced to go here, and this is now an 8 and a 4 remote pair. These squares must be a 2, 6, and a 4. 2, 6, and a 4. I don't really know what to do with those. So let me look elsewhere for the next digit. Well, there's 6, 7 here and a 6, 7 here. So a 6 and a 7 must occupy 2 of these 3 squares. So the other 2 must be a 1 and a 2. So this square must be a 6 or a 7. 1 and a 2, I can't really say anything about. And I still don't know anything about the 1, 4, and an 8 here, but I know now that this must be a 5. This 5 blocks up, this 5 blocks down, this 5 blocks over. This square must therefore be a 5. These are still a 1 and a 7, but now that we have this 1, we know that the 7 must go here and the 1 here. And now I think we can return to the top row, for which we still need a 1, 6, 7, and a 2. We got a 1, 2, and a 7 now in the column, so this has got to be a 6. And one of these now must be a 7. 3 squares missing here, or 3 digits missing, an 8, 9, and a 6. And I can't do much about that. But we can place a 1 here, can we? Because this 1 blocks across, this 1 blocks up, so one of these squares must be a 1 blocking here. This 1 blocks here, so a 1 goes here. And we still need a 4 and an 8 for these 2 squares. The 8 blocks down, so the 4 must go here and the 8 here. And that gives me a 4 for this square, like so. This 4 blocks over, this 4 blocks over, this 4 blocks up, so a 4 must go here. And now this 4 blocks up, this blocks down, so one of these must be a 4. Do we know anything about the other empty squares in the 9th column? The others must be a 9, 8, and a 3. There's a 3 and a 9 here, so this, no, not quite. 3 blocks up, 3 blocks over, 3 blocks over. 3 can go here or here, so I'm not sure yet. Here we are looking for a 1, 2, and a 9. And again, I can't do anything, but at least that tells me that this square must be an 8. And these, therefore, now must be a 9 and a 2. 2, 6, 7, 8 for these squares. There's a 2, 7, and a 6 blocking this square, which therefore must be an 8. And we know that this square is blocked by this 2. This 2 blocks this square, so a 2 is forced to go here, and that makes this a 7 and this a 1. Now we just need to find a 2 and a 9 for these squares. The 2 blocks over, making this a 9 and this a 2. And now this square has got to be a 9. Here we are looking for a 1, which can't go here because of the blocking 1. So 1 goes here and a 3. And I think that gets us on with the 3s, yes, because we got a 3 blocking down here, 1 blocking up, and we got a couple of 3s blocking these squares. So this is a 3. These must now be a 7, which can't go here, of course, because of this 7, and a 6, leaving just an 8 and a 9 for these squares. The 9 blocks down, so the 8 goes here and the 9 here. 8 blocks up, 8 blocks over, 8 goes here and therefore here, making this a 6. 6 blocks down, 6 blocks over, 6 goes here and therefore here. Only 2 squares missing here, a 4 which must go here and a 2 which has to go here, making this a 2 as well, and this must be our 4. And that is how we solved today's hard Sudoku from the New York Times. Please come back soon for more videos.